The final week of spring camp at Ohio State is here, and let's ramp up the intensity the only way we know how on the beat. It's a Bourne Blitz presented by the Waterworks. He is Zach Bourne. I am Austin Warden. I don't know how we got here, Zach. Let me ask you, do players want spring camp to be over, or do they want more practice?
I think they want it to be over with.
Okay,
But
all right.
in saying that, Austin, has this not been the quickest 4 weeks? I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. It feels like we were just talking about the start of spring ball, all these storylines coming into it. And now you sit here and you're like, well, spring ball's almost over with. And then we're going to have all of summer to try and, I don't want to call them make up storylines, but, try and predict the future and predict storylines going into the fall of what's going to happen.
Yeah. Projection season is not my most fun time of the year, Zach. I like it when there's practice going on. I like it when we get some new information. And so I'm going to try and live in the moment because we have a practice today, Monday. Ryan Day will talk after that. Got another one on Wednesday. Got both offensive line and defensive line talking after that. We got the coaches clinic Thursday night and a practice on Friday, and then the spring game. So we're going to get a flood of information this week. I don't want to look too far past it because, I don't know how much can change over these next 3 or 4 practices, including the spring game, Zach. But, we're going to see a lot, which is all that matters to me.
Yeah, well, here's the other thing. Monday might be a little bit of tough practice, but Wednesday and Friday will not be that hard of practices. And the reason why is, coaches clinic comes around. The coaches want guys to be fresh for Saturday. They've had their hard scrimmages, they've had their live period. So from that standpoint, I don't think you're going to get a ton from Wednesday and Friday. Now, I'll tell you what, the rest of Buckeye Nation and all of us are going to be able to create some theories from the game on Saturday, which is always fun. And you say, you hate the offseason. I do as well, just because people get one little tagline or hear one little snippet and they want to blow it up. And especially, Austin, once you get to the game on Saturday, if someone pops off, which we all know there's going to be someone who get some opportunities that won't necessarily get opportunities come fall camp because, they're getting reps for a starter in the spring game or whatever it might be. It's always fun to see some of those young guys play really well in the spring game.
Yeah, I think back to last year's spring game, Zach, and it was because one of the narratives after that was Julian Sayin was so great in the Horseshoe that there was no quarterback competition, that anything that me or Berm or anyone else might say about Lincoln Keenhold's pushing for the job had to be made up because everyone saw it with their own eyes what Julian Sayin did on that last day of spring camp. But that's one of the opposite scenarios because Julian had struggled throughout camp, and Billy Fessler's talked about that. Ryan Day's talked about that. Julian Sayin has talked about that. But that's the counter example. It's like that guy played so well, and he did live up to it once the season came around. It doesn't usually work that way. More to your point, it's a third or fourth string guy or a freshman who has an explosive spring game. It's like he's got to play. It's like, no, the scenario kind of led itself to that more than anything else, which I think is exciting as well. Like we want to see this next wave of Buckeyes make the most of those opportunities. And you played for a guy in Urban Meyer who's like, let's see what you do when there's 70,000 people or 80,000 people. It may just be one practice, but how you handle it does generally carry some weight.
For sure. And you and I have talked about this. They are going to give guys opportunities and put guys in positions Saturday during the spring game that they probably haven't been in all of spring practice. They for sure won't be in come the fall, but they just want to see what they have, right? They want to see, hey, 70, 80,000 people, what are you going to do? Or you can go up and make the play or not. Because to be honest, what they're trying to find is who's going to compete in those situations, because God forbid the injury bug hits or something out of their control hits. You got to know who's going to be able to answer the call when there's, 70, 80,000 people in the stands and the bullets are flying. So what we're going to see in the spring game might be completely opposite of what we see come the fall. But it's just fun to see some of those guys make plays. Or I shouldn't even say that. It's fun to see some of those guys get opportunities that might not get opportunities for a full year or 2 years from now.
Who's somebody that's not named Brock Boyd that you most want to see on Saturday?
You took the you took mine, Austin.
Well, I know, but we can't just keep talking about Brock Boyd every Monday. It would be It'd be
You're
fun,
right.
but
Someone who I'm really excited to play on Saturday, and this is kind of going to go opposite of what I've just said, because I think this person's going to play a lot come the fall. Now, I'm going to say it, and people are going to be like, well, how's he going to play? Where's he going to fall into the order? I'm really excited to see Dominic Kelly on Saturday. And the whole reason why is because we know this from a spring ball standpoint. A lot of times they let guys throw the football and air it out, right? They aren't going to bang and clang and make it a super physical game. It's, yes, it's 11 on 11, but, they might air the ball out more than they normally would just to get guys some opportunities. I'm really excited to see Dominic Kelly compete and play in front of the Horseshoe for the first time. There was a weird, I'll say a weird noise around him going into transfer portal. And you and I have talked about this. Georgia fans and coaches were so upset to lose him, but it wasn't like a huge signing, Austin. People weren't jumping up and down for Dominic Kelly. He wasn't, one, at least I don't think so, one of the top rated guys. Like, it was kind of an under the radar type of signing by Ohio State. And from everyone I've talked to, they've like, man, this dude can freaking compete, right? This dude is a baller. And so you start looking, though, at the cornerback room, and you've got obviously Jermaine Matthews, you got Devin Sanchez, you got Calhoun, right? Like, you've got some dudes in that room. So some people are gonna be like, where's he actually place in the system? And so I'm excited to see him compete, see what he can do. I think maybe the more success that he has, probably the more likely that you're going to see this defense go to a 3 quarterback rotation come the fall, like we've seen in the past back when Coach Combs was here.
I was just going to say, Zach, where does he fit in? I think he forces a fit. He forces the expansion of the rotation back to the glory years of the Ohio State BIA secondary, when you had 3 first-round picks at a time going out there and splitting the workload relatively evenly. Now, again, we're already in dangerous territory of projecting that forward. But I think if you watch Dominic Kelly, and it's only been 3 practices so far that I've got to see any of it, he reminds me of a younger Davison Igbinosun. Obviously, the length is the easiest way to make that comparison. He is tall. He's got a large wingspan, but he also plays with the same kind of physicality, which I know how important that is going to be for Tim Walton and Matt Guerreri and Matt Patricia to get on the field. If you can't hold up and help, if you have to make a tackle, then you can't be a third cornerback that's on the field. And I think it would help Devin Sanchez and Jermaine Matthews if they got to take 15 or 20 less reps over the course of the season. We hear so much about 16, 17 games and, pace of play and attrition and a pair and a spare. Like, you need that at corner. You need a Dominic Kelly and or a Cam Calhoun to be able to supplement that, not just for injury, but just to keep those guys fresh. And you're right. There's another factor here. If the offensive line is banged up, that might also influence the number of times that you're going to throw the football on Saturday. Football's going to be in the air. Dominic Kelly, Devin Sanchez, Jermaine Matthews, they're all going to, Cam Calhoun, they're all going to have Jay Timmons, they're all going to have a chance to knock one down or maybe pick one off.
Yeah. I always laugh, and it goes back to, there is a huge portion of Buckeye fans, especially on social media, that put so much weight into the spring game. And it's just funny that the way these guys play will dictate the way people think about them going into the season, right? So if someone makes, someone has pick sixes, if someone gets burnt, Buckeye fans will remember that going all the way into the fall. And then if they go into a game, people are gonna be like, oh my God, no way. And, it's going to take for them to make a big play for people to change, for them to change people's minds. It's just, this is my biggest thing. I think obviously there's a big opinion about the way this defense is going to look coming into 2026. I think just go into the spring game with an open mind, man. There are so many new faces. And we just named Dominic Kelly, but there are so many other dudes that are new faces, like John Walker, right? Just got his black stripe off. And I know, it's probably not going to be the most physical practice like we talked about with people running the football, but there's just so many new dudes that it's going to be the first time running out in the Horseshoe, playing in front of home fans. Like, just enjoy the game. Watch it play out. See the way those guys move. See the way that they hold themselves accountable. Like, the biggest thing I'm going to look for is, hey, who's competing, right? You bring up Dominic Kelly, and that's what I'm so excited to see him, because everyone that you talk to says that he just gets after it. He's got that kind of it factor when it comes to competing. So that's why my hopes are high for him, but it's just why I'm excited. So I think everyone, don't form an opinion going into it. Don't, put so much weight on the way they perform. Just enjoy and look forward to the future, man, because the season's still 5 months away, Austin, I think.
Oh, don't put it that way, Zach. We can't hear it that way. That's disappointing and disheartening and sad. But it will be, as you said, too, the first time for 51 new faces to play in their new home in the Horseshoe. You can keep your home ready for any weather with the Waterworks and Header Energy Savings Plan. Get priority heating service, members only savings, and continuous comfort all year long. Call today to schedule. It's the Waterworks and Header, 614-232-2222. So you have just a couple practices left. I don't think that we're going to get a lot of competition and position battles settled this week. If that's an expectation that was out there, I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're talking primarily about the offensive line, and the injuries, make that more difficult. What is something that you think could reasonably be done or needs to be done by the end of the week, Zach?
That's a loaded question, Austin.
I know. But I know you can handle it.
I just think those guys need to keep competing, right? Like, you have two starters that are out for the offensive line. And let's be honest, those guys, Phillip Daniels, oh my God, Austin Sareveld, are 100% going to be starters come the fall, right? So what's it look like for those guys stepping up behind them, and what can they do to put really good plays on tape? Now, here's the thing. Going into the fall, I know Ohio State's going to play their best 5 guys. Does that mean Ian Moore's the left tackle and Austin Sareveld's the right guard? Very well might be, right? Who knows? It's just Ohio State is looking for their best 5 players no matter what. It's not, I know everyone's talking about the right guard position. It's not just open for grabs, whoever's at right guard. It's who can move around and make this offensive line most complete. And so those guys that are fighting for those positions, this is their time. Like Ian Moore, this is a huge week, right? It's a huge spring game to just show, especially if they're throwing the football as much as we think they will. Hey, guess what? How are you going to compete and hold up on the edge, protecting your quarterback? And so, there's so many guys, like, even a guy like that's getting a lot of reps now that probably wouldn't have if there weren't for some injuries. A guy like Mason Wilhelm, right? He's a true freshman coming in from St. Ed's, great high school football program. Guess what? He's probably getting way more advanced snaps this spring than he thought he would. When you talk about Sareveld, Daniels, when you talk about all the other guys that are out from that standpoint, right? With injuries. And so, Austin, it's so interesting when you start talking about the offensive line, and obviously I'm not an offensive lineman, but I've been around a lot of guys. Sometimes
a couple pretty well, I think.
No doubt, right? Sometimes it's a puzzle. Sometimes it's a puzzle that no one has the right answers to until you get all of those guys together and they start working together. They start communicating together. Like, the offensive line play is so dynamic and so in depth. And you got to get reps in order for those guys to cohesively, as a unit, be on the same page. Because we saw it against Indiana. We saw it against Miami. If there's one guy that isn't on the same page of everyone else, let's not to throw shade, but let's look at a guy like Tegra, right? All last year, all 4 guys would do something great. Tegra would go the wrong way or would have an MA. And next thing you know, the entire play's blown up. So how do you form your best 5 guys that work together from that standpoint and make it the best unit?
Is there anything that you need or want to see from Julian saying, I guess we can include Tavian St. Clair in that as well, but those are very different conversations, and it's not a legitimate competition or any kind of controversy. We know that the returning Heisman Trophy finalist is going to be starting here, but do the quarterbacks need to do anything in this scenario in the Horseshoe?
Well, I think we can all agree on this, that the last two games of the year when Julian Sain was under pressure, he did not perform the way he needed to perform. And so he might be feeling some pressure on Saturday, right? With a piece together offensive line. What is Julian Sain going to do differently? Now, obviously, he's not getting tackled and things like that, but what is he going to do differently on Saturday that he didn't do in those two games? And Ryan Day talked about using his legs more, right? Hey, can he create some more time from that standpoint? Here's another thing. Guess what? If you know pressure is coming, especially from the secondary level, can we throw hot? Right? We didn't see him really throw hot at all against Indiana and Miami, right? Like, guess what? Check at the offensive line and give someone a hot signal and have them run a different route than everyone else, just knowing that you can throw quick off of him if there is pressure from the secondary level. So there's a multitude of things I think we'd all love to see. Now, at the end of the day, you hope Julian Saint's never under pressure and he's got all the time in the pocket to throw the football, which we saw for, 12 games last year. But,
right.
yeah, I mean, you just want to see Julian grow as a quarterback and being able to handle pressure, use his feet, start playing chess with the defense, right, and start being able to utilize different hot routes, things like that, audibles, like that will be huge for Julian going into this year.
All right. Well, you can talk about Brock Boyd now. I mean, I think we're all going to be doing that by this time next week.
I am pumped to see Brock Boyd. I mean, I am so excited. This goes against basically everything that I've been talking about on this show, Austin, that you can't
But he's not just done it in the spring game is the thing, right? Well, we haven't seen the spring game yet.
I get it. We haven't seen the spring game, yeah, I mean, there is just way too much noise coming out of the Woody Hayes in spring practice for us not to be excited for what he could potentially bring to this offense. They nicknamed him White Lightning for a reason. From talking to people, I think he would be as much to a JSN as we've had in a little while, just because his intermediate routes are great. His understanding of coverages are great, right? Like Jeremiah Smith is probably will go down as the greatest wide receiver in Ohio State history, but Jeremiah Smith is just a freak athlete, right? Like Jeremiah Smith and JSN are completely different players from the standpoint of, JSN can make his living in the slot and do different things and run option routes and, do all those things, where Brock Boyd is that same kind of player. He's a coach's son, understands football, the X's and O's, just like a quarterback does, and understands leverage from all those things. And you don't get that out of a freshman, Austin. And so for him to be able to bring that kind of pedigree, that knowledge to a wide receiver room, especially as a true freshman, and be able to put it together on the field with the athletic ability that he has, I am so excited for Brock Boyd to go off in the spring game. I'm excited to see what he does this fall. I truly believe, Austin, he is going to be the number 4 or 5 wide receiver on this team coming into the fall.
Yeah. That wasn't anything that we would have expected when we were talking about it on a Bourne Blitz 2 months ago, but here we are now. Impressive spring camp and still a week to go for him and everybody else on that Ohio State roster. They will cap off this with their 15th practice. It will be the exhibition game, spring game in the Horseshoe Saturday afternoon. Looks like, knock on wood, going to be some perfect weather. Going to be a great time to go hang out. I bet the Bourne tailgate will be live for that one.
We will be down there, Austin. We will be down there and join, and then going to saddle up afterwards.
Woo! What a big weekend that's going to be. And then, so we'll probably record a little bit later on Sunday next week, I imagine, if you got to saddle up on Saturday night. Yeah. So we'll keep that in the back pocket, but we'll break down the spring game and what we actually see at this time next week with another Bourne Blitz. It will be a Monday on the Beat, presented by the Waterworks. Have a great week, folks. A lot of coverage coming your way all week long on the Austin and Berm Show. We can't wait to talk about it and break down the Buckeyes as always. We'll talk to you. For Zach, I'm Austin. We'll talk to you later.